So the lost finale of Hell of a Boss finally has been released, and I believe that is the best Loona-based episode in the series thus far. The only major problem is this episode's enjoyable and fulfilling development of Loona is completely ignored the next time we see her in Season 2 in Shooting Stars. I'm not afraid to admit that this episode being exactly what Vivian said it would be made my Shooting Stars review worse, since a large portion of that video I brought up that the missing Season 1 finale contained an integral piece of Blitz and Stolas' relationship.
Stolas flirts and sexually harasses Blitz just as much in this episode as he did throughout Season 1, showcasing that he acts exactly the same. If the writers were planning on him acting like this since before the Season 1 finale was planned to come out, this episode is essentially spoiling that Stolas and Blitz were going to make up in the finale and go back to acting the way they did before.
But although my review may look worse now, just look at Shooting Stars as an episode. Myself and many others have already gone over in detail the odd handling of Blitz and Stolas in that episode, so I'm not going to go over that again. What I mainly want to talk about is Loona. At the end of the Season 1 finale, Loona finally accepts Blitz as her father and shows that she cares about him. But the next time they interact in Shooting Stars, she blatantly physically assaults him and later humiliates him for trying to openly care for her, even though in the finale, she openly cares for him. The Season 1 finale completed Loona's arc that was set up back in Spring Broken, and then Shooting Stars completely does away with any of the character development she gained from said arc, and for some reason made her more cruel towards Blitz than ever before. It's one thing to be tsundere-ish, but it's another to be mentally and physically abusive in a relationship. Just look at this from Blitz's perspective. You adopt someone who you see is suffering, you give her as much affection as you can, she consistently acts distant from you, you commit an act that finally makes her proud of you, she shows that she cares about you, you then get in an argument where she begins to beat you, you put it behind you and try to be affectionate again, and she only continues to abuse you. Blitz isn't a rational person, but even someone like Blitz can connect the dots that if after trying so hard to make progress in a relationship and you finally do, you expect a paradigm shift. You expect that relationship to become more loving because both members have shown that they care for each other, so there's less of a need to put defenses up. But instead, the relationship goes from being emotionally abusive to physically abusive. One could make the argument that Loona doesn't like public displays of affection, even though she openly shouts in the middle of a party that Blitz is her father, which insinuates she's proud of him, which is a form of public affection. But disregarding that, it's never stated by Loona to Blitz that she doesn't like PDA, so how could she ever expect him not to do it? This entire relationship has had problems, which is to be expected. I'm not saying that this sort of thing isn't accurate when a person with abandonment issues is adopted. This sort of thing happens all the time, especially after divorces. But this show takes it to a major extreme, especially if you consider that Loona is 18. Blitz no longer has a legal requirement to take care of her, and she could leave at any moment she wants to, but doesn't, and instead stays with Blitz, mooching off of his hospitality. The more I think about it, the more Loona seems more and more like a villain who is supposed to embody a parasitic toxic relationship, and Blitz's arc with her is finally kicking her out and letting go of her, whilst gaining a newfound form of self-respect. In fact, I'm pretty sure standing his ground against an abusive relationship and finding self-respect is what was originally going to be his arc with Stolas before it became a genuine romance story. I wish I could say that this is a story that they're trying to tell, but Loona is never painted in a negative light. She's not supposed to be an antagonist, and with the backstory she got in Shooting Stars, we're actually supposed to feel bad for her after having a troubled past. The thing is, most villains have a troubled past like Loona, but that doesn't stop them from being a villain. This wouldn't be so bad if we had an insinuation at some point showing that Loona is actually trying to work on her character flaws and is trying to care for Blitz but just doesn't know how to do it. But instead, the only arc she has besides accepting Blitz as a father is her trying to win over Tex. I want to give Vivian the benefit of the doubt, but after the Western Energy issue with Loona, where Vivian I guess never wanted there to be a bonding moment between the two, and instead made that B-plot with no intention of actually exploring their relationship in any way, I just can't trust her enough to say that Loona in Shooting Stars was a mistake, and that they will never portray Loona like this again, and continue their dynamic based off the ending of Queen Bee. As it stands, Loona and Blitz's relationship is not one to be seen as troubled or viewed as slowly improving. It's something to be viewed as an overall negative aspect of Blitz's life, but since it's never actually portrayed that way, the majority of the fan base will fail to see just how bad this relationship truly is.
I'll be there, Dad.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Sorry, I'll never replace you no matter what you...
No! 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 Fuck!